chant along with me. Fold your hands and chant the prayers, and then we'll begin our discussion. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nidhi Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Bracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhashya Dadeshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are celebrating the Ram Navami on coming Thursday. So we thought of discussing something from the Ramayana, the beautiful pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, and then take some lessons from them. Okay, so I think many of us, we all know the author of Ramayana is Valmiki Rishi. So there is a background about the Valmiki Rishi also. This Valmiki, he was a highway robber. His name was Ratnakar. So, and he used to loot the people, the passers-by. So one time, there were some sages was just passing by, and he attempted to loot them. So the sages, anyway, they don't carry much so that he can loot them. At the same time, they just walk around for the benefit of the people. So they wanted to teach him the lesson. So they asked him, go and ask your family if they will share the suffering which will come upon you because of your doing all this sinful act of looting and killing and hurting the people. So would your family will share those sufferings? So then this Ratnakar, he goes to this family. He said, would you share the suffering with me? So they straight away, very bluntly, they said that why we should share your suffering with us. Like why we should share your suffering. Now it is your duty to take care of us. Now, if you had to suffer for that, you had to suffer yourself. So by hearing this kind of a response, he came to his senses. And then he came back to the sages and then he realized his mistake. He says, please guide me. What should I do now? Right? So then the sages, they guided him to chant the Ram Nam. And then he sat there and he gave up all his business of looting the people. And he is constantly chanting the name of Lord Rama for a very, very long time. And he was so absorbed in chanting the name of Lord Ram that he was completely oblivious to his externals. And then for a long time, he was sitting in one place and chanting. And then his body was completely covered and it became like an anthill. So one time, so that is the story of this Valmiki Rishi. And how from a highway robber, he became such a great sage just by being in touch with the devotees. So that is the power of devotee association. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koy, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. All the scriptures unanimously, they conclude that the essence is the association of devotees. And just momentary association with the devotees will result in all perfection of life. So that is Sarva Shastra Koy, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. So now, how does this whole Ramayana begins? Let's understand that a little bit. So one time, this Valmiki, he asked Narad Muni that who is the best person in the whole world? And Narada, he explained the whole Ramayana. And then after that, so actually he explained that there is a personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he explained about the Supreme Lord, and he explained the 16 qualities of that person, who's the best person existing on the planet at that time. So that was, of course, Lord Ramchandra only. And after that, Valmiki was roaming everywhere thinking of Lord Rama only all the time. So one time when he was roaming in the forest, so then he saw a hunter, and this hunter, he was trying to hunt some birds. So he shoots an arrow. There are two birds, like there is a couple of birds. They're just enjoying and they're having fun. And suddenly this hunter, he shoots an arrow to a couple, the male and female bird. And this arrow goes and pierces the male bird. And he fell on the ground, this bird, and he was crying. And this female bird was panicking. And the entire, the scene was a little dramatic and painful. And this Balmiki Rishi was seeing all of this. So by seeing all of this, he felt so bad, so pained, and he became a little upset and disturbed by on this hunter. Says, and then immediately he just said something. One shloka came out from his mouth, just like that, without any plan, and he cursed him. And after cursing, he says, "Why did you do that? They were just happy playing around. They didn't do any harm to you. You just killed the male bird, and he has the family, the female and other, baby birds, and they're all crying and panicking." So he just cursed them. And immediately after cursing, he came to senses and he started reflecting that, oh, I'm a sage and I'm supposed to be self-controlled. Something happened which was not the good thing to happen, but still I should be self-controlled. I should not become agitated like this, influenced by the emotions. And I cursed this hunter. And then he realized that one shloka which came out from his mouth when he was in shoka. Shoka means the lamentation. So the shloka came when he was in shoka. So he was wondering that how this poetic shloka came from his lips. He never did that. It was never composed before. It was never planned before. And then he analyzed this and he found it was perfect. And his meters and all the grammars and everything was so perfect. So he was wondering, like, I never composed any shloka like this. It abruptly came out from my mouth. Then he started contemplating and he thought there might be some plan of the Almighty. And that is when Brahmaji appears there. And when Brahmaji comes, and Brahmaji pacify him by saying that, it was all my arrangement. And now I would like to tell you that you have a special service here. And what is your seva? What is your service? Your service is that you had to compile the glories of Lord Ramchandra. You had to compile the Ramayana in the same format. The shloka came out from your mouth. In the same format, you had to write, you had to compose the entire Ramayana now. And after that, Valmiki, he composed 24,000 chopais. Chopais like the verses. So what we call the shloka, in the Ramayana, we call it chopai. Like there are 4-line verses, right? So he composed 24,000 chopais, which glorifies and explains the entire pastime of Lord Ramchandra. And then when he compiled, then he wanted to tell it to someone. Now the whole 24,000 verses. Hare Krishna. Okay, sorry. So now this whole Ramayana had the 7 sections, the 7 cantos, or we call them the Kand. Starting from the Bal Kand, then Ayodhya Kand, then Aranya Kand, Kishkinda Kand, Sundar Kand, and then Yuddha Kand, and the last one is the Uttar Kand. So like that, the whole Ramayana is divided into the 7 different parts like that. And then this Balmiki Muni, he wanted to share this because this is the nature of the pastime and the glories of the Lord. Once you hear that, once you know about them, you naturally want to share. And more you share, more you become realized about that knowledge. It doesn't remain just a theory, but it becomes a realized knowledge by simply sharing with others. So then he wanted to share and he wanted to teach others. So then he taught this Ramayana that time to the two young, brilliant young boys who are none other than the sons of Lord Ramchandra, uh, which is Love and Kush. So in their young age, they heard and they learned and they memorized and they learned it so well. And in turn, the Love and Kush, they will go around and they will just sing the Ramayana and they will enchant the whole crowd by singing that. So when this conversation was going on between Valmiki and Narad Muni, wherein the Valmiki was asking that who is the best person on the whole planet, and then Narad Muni explains. He explains the qualities of the person who is the best, and he mentions about like around some 16 qualities of that Lord who is the Supreme Person of Godhead and who is best among all. Okay, so we'll try to take few qualities here. It is from the Valmiki Ramayana, and we'll try to understand these qualities through some nice stories, and I'll try to take some lessons and some insights from this. So the first quality of Lord Ramchandra, which has been mentioned, is he is Dharmagya. Dharmagya means, Gya means to know. Gya means Gyan, one who knows. So Dharmagya means one who knows about the Dharma. So he knows his duty to protect the devotees. That is Dharma. So why this Ramayana happened in the first place? Now there are some interesting stories. There are multiple reasons for this Ramayana to happen. So let us hear those stories. And everybody should remember, maybe at the end we'll ask what and all different stories you remember. Okay, so the one reason is when Ravana was creating the havoc in the entire universe, and he was very, very powerful, he was torturing everyone, including the demigods. So demigods, one time they approached the Supreme Lord, and then after hearing from the demigods on their request, Lord said that I'll appear soon. But my request to all of you demigods is you also should be willing to take some austerity. And you should also appear on the planet Earth and assist me in my pastimes. And how you will assist me in my pastimes? You all should appear, all the demigods should appear like monkeys, as monkeys. So a Lord shows that he respects all his devotees, irrespective of their form. They're in what body. If there's some animal body, they're in human body or low-born body, it doesn't matter for the Lord. So Lord wants to demonstrate that for him, this externals doesn't matter. For him, everyone is equal. Anyone who has the devotion for the Lord, he respects them. And Lord is willing to humble himself. And he doesn't feel ashamed, even in the company of monkeys. Right? Generally, you don't see any person who is a little reputed person in the society. He will just walk around in the city with his associates who are like monkeys. That person is not seen as like some great man, some respectable man. But Lord is willing to take that humble stand. He doesn't feel ashamed. For him, what is more important is someone being a devotee is more important for the Lord. Right? So that is one reason that all the demigods requested, because Ravana was torturing everyone. Now, this Ravana was torturing all the sages also on the planet Earth. And all the sages were tormented by all this Ravana and his different Rakshasas. And they also approached the Lord for protection. That is also another reason. Now there is another interesting reason why Lord Ramchandra appears is this. So one time, the Supreme Lord in the Vishnu form, in the Vaikuntha, so Lord is lying on the bed of Shesha, and Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, she is sitting at the feet of the Lord. She is massaging the feet of the Lord. That is what is the seva of Lakshmi ji, Pada Sevanam. Right? Constantly she is engaged in serving the lotus feet, massaging the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Narayana. So one time, Lakshmi ji, she expresses, despite all the service and constant service she is engaged in, she expressed a little dissatisfaction. Right? And she was saying that, Lord, I am so grateful that you have given me this wonderful opportunity to serve your lotus feet, but it's still, I'm a little dissatisfied because one handicap in the service. And Lord was asking, what more you want? You are constantly engaged in serving me. What else? What more it can be, which will satisfy you and pacify you? So she says, no, I'm happy, but something is wrong with this. So then Lord asked that, what is wrong in that? So she expressed that, I'm serving your lotus feet, but my desire is to serve you in privacy. I want exclusively you and me. I want to serve some service in private. So Lord says, who else is here? Nobody is here, you and me only. He says, and then Lakshmi ji looking at the Anantashesh. He said, look at your Anantashesh. He's with thousands of hoots and thousands of eyes constantly looking at me when I'm doing some service to you. And I feel a little uncomfortable, as if he is just watching at me and whether I'm doing it all right or what. So I want some solitude, some privacy. So then Lord pacifies by saying that in this situation, I can manage this much only. But in future, I'll arrange, to have some privacy in the forest. So wait for the time. It will happen in the future. So that is the promise the Supreme Lord gave to Lakshmi ji. So now Lord has to come and arrange something wherein they find some private time. So now the Sita Devi is actually got as a fortune. So now Janak Maharaj kept one competition that anyone who can lift the Mahesh chap, the bow of Lord Shiva, Shiv Dhanush, right? And there is a competition that anyone who can lift it can marry Sita Devi. Now, this Mahesh chap, this Shiv Dhanush was so heavy that just to lift it from and move it from one place to another place, the description is 8,000 soldiers will lift it and they'll just move maybe a little bit, 1 or 2 minutes. And by the time in 1 or 2 minutes, they'll be completely exhausted and tired. And they had to keep it down, they had to take rest. And then after a while, again, they will lift it and they'll move. It was so heavy. So now, Janak Maharaj was always anxious about that who will marry my daughter, Sita? Who will be that powerful who can really lift this Dhanush? So one time what happened, and this Sita Devi, when she was a small girl, she was playing in the garden with her friends. And then some of the friends were saying to pluck some fruit. And it was too high to pluck the fruits by hand. So they were just looking some object to hit and pluck the fruit like that. So this Shiv Dhanush was lying there, and then they didn't find anything while they were looking for something to hit the fruit to pluck. So Sita Devi, as a small girl, she goes, lift the Shiv Dhanush with one hand and pluck the fruit, and then she kept it back. And there's some guards and some soldiers who are there. They almost got a heart attack by seeing this. That this Shiv Dhanush, which is difficult to even lift by thousands of soldiers, and here is the small girl, she lifted it. So when they came and they reported to Janak Maharaj that what they saw, Janak Maharaj couldn't believe that. But then later, he was kind of, so he became very anxious about that if she is so powerful, then who will marry her? We had to find a suitable match. If she, tomorrow if she gets married to some ordinary person, and as a wife, if she embraces the husband, she will crush the husband only. She is so powerful. So the point is, Sita Devi had enormous power to smash Ravana, right? Like she plucked the fruit, she would have easily plucked each one of the head of the Ravana. He was having the 10 heads. She would have easily plucked all the heads. She was so powerful, very easily. But to perform the pastime and to teach us, that how to feel the helplessness and arouse the feeling in the heart and to pray to the Lord for protection. So she became the part of the pastime. So then it happens. So one time this Vasishtha Muni, Vasishtha Muni took the Rama and Lakshmana and he entered into the Mithila and he asked Lord Rama to go and see this Shiv Dhanus. So Lord Ramchandra, he understood what is the meaning of seeing. Seeing doesn't mean that you go see and come back. I saw it is very nice, very heavy. Seeing means there is instruction. So Lord Ramchandra goes there and he lifted it. And not only just lifted it, he string it. And while you were trying to string, and it broke into two pieces. So everybody was shocked and there was a thundering sound, a tumultuous sound on the entire universe. And all the people who were sitting in the assembly, they almost fainted by that sound. Right? And that is when the Sita Devi comes with the garland to offer to the Lord. But Lord says that, hey, wait, that was not the part of the deal. I was just told to see this. So if you want to get married, I have to take the permission from my elders. So this is a lesson for all of us. That any important step in our life or important decision in our life, we had to take the guidance and permissions from our elders or our parents or spiritual master, most importantly. Right? So that is how they got married. And after marriage, everything was going well for almost like 12 years. And Lord Ramchandra was so popular in the whole of Ayodhya. Constantly, he will be surrounded by some Ayodhya Vasis, his devotees. He'll not get even a single moment for his personal self. He was so dear to everyone that people want to come, meet him, serve him, see him, and all of that. So like that, he was busy with all of that. And then after 12 years, one day, Sita Devi called the Lord, little in the side, said, do you remember that what is the purpose? You promised me that you will come here, and there was a kind of a promise. And there was a deal that we'll have to do some pastimes. You had to give me some private time, privacy. So then Lord says, okay. So then the Lord orchestrated the Vanvasa Leela. So the point is, we should understand one important point is coming for our understanding here is that sometimes people say, oh, if he is Lord, he is Bhagwan, then why it happened, why he became the part of the conspiracy, why he couldn't protect his own wife, if he is all-powerful Lord. And all these kind of questions can be raised. But one thing we should understand from the scriptures is everything is the part of the plan of the Lord. He is only orchestrating all of this for various reasons. Right? So Lord decided to do the Vanvasa Leela. So that is one of the reason. And there is another reason which has been explained, which is that Brahmaji, he saw this Ranganath deity, Ranganathji in Milk Ocean, and he prays to the Lord to manifest in Satyaloka. And the Lord manifested there. And from Satyaloka, the king of Ikshvaku dynasty, they prayed and they worshipped that form of Ranganathji. And finally, this deity of Ranganathji came to Ayodhya. And it was worshipped for thousands of years. In fact, Dashrath Maharaj worshipped this deity of Ranganathji for 60,000 years. But despite all these many years of seva, the Ranganathji says that I am not satisfied with this worship. Right? Something is missing here. So then Lord decided if I had to have a satisfaction of being worshipped, then I myself should worship myself. So then Lord decided to come in the Ikshvaku dynasty, which is like a Raghuvansh. In that, the same Lord comes in the form of Lord Ramchandra, and then he worshipped the deity of this Ranganathji. So this current Ranganathji. So later this deity was given to Vibhishan after the whole battle of this Ramayana, when Ravana was killed and Bibhishan was, coronated on the throne. So then this deity was given to Bibhishan, and on the way back, he placed the deity down for 9 days for a festival. And then one Chola king who prayed to the Lord to stay, and Lord stayed uh, on the Lord stayed there, but then Bibhishan was feeling, so he requested the Lord that you can stay here, but at least you should, you should face in the southern direction, so that in that direction Lanka is there. So you always look at the Lanka. It should be always under your supervision. Okay. So this is also another reason to reciprocate with Rangnathji. So Lord appeared here. Right. So these are the various reasons has been explained why Lord appears. Okay. So Lord is Dharmagya. Dharmagya means he knows his duty to protect the devotees, to reciprocate with the devotees. So that is one quality. Now we'll talk about another quality of the Supreme Lord. Okay. So the another quality is the Lord is also known as Satyasandha. Satyasandha means Lord is true to his promise. Okay. So now Dashrath Maharaj, he was having the undefeatable kingdom and the power and prosperity. Despite all of this opulences and power and big kingdom, still there was a pinprick in his heart. And what was that? He did not have any son. He had a daughter, Shanta, but he did not have any son. So he was always worried and concerned. Oh, that what will happen? Who will be my next descendant? So he was always. So this is the nature of this material world. People think if I have money, if I have the power, if I have a good family, everything is good, then I can be happy. But the scriptures, they educate us, they guide us that no matter that any amount of material opulence you can have, but it doesn't guarantee happiness. That is the nature of this material world. There's a different formula for happiness. We need to understand from the scriptures. So happiness doesn't come by sense gratification. People think if I get enough money, enough resources, then I can enjoy, unlimitedly. I can enjoy my senses. I can have unlimited sense gratification, and then I'll be happy. So they think happiness is the byproduct of sense gratification. But the scriptures teaches us happiness is not a product. Happiness is a byproduct, and happiness is a byproduct of devotional service, seva to the Lord. So when someone who really wants to be happy, then he should take a product, which is the devotional service of the Lord, seva of the Lord, and as a byproduct, you will get the happiness. And if you choose the product as sense gratification as a product, then byproduct is miseries. So we need to correct our conceptions. People think if I get enough sense gratification, I'll be happy. But no, if you get enough sense gratification, you'll be more miserable. If you want to be happy, then take the seva to the Lord, devotional service to the Lord as a product, and then happiness will be the byproduct. So here, Dashrath Maharaj, despite having all this opulences and prosperity and big kingdom and power, he was always constantly feeling this pain in the heart that I have no son. So then the sages suggested him and guided him. The husband of his daughter Shanta, he performed the Putra Kameshti Yagya. And through that Yagya, one person came out with a pot of sweet rice. And then the sage, he divides this sweet rice pot into different parts. So one half of the sweet rice was given to one of the wife of Dashrath Maharaj, Kaushalya. So Kaushalya got 1.5. And then 1/4 was given to Sumitra. And then 1/8 was given to Kekai, and another 1/8 was given to Sumitra. So with that, all the three wives, they gave the birth to the four sons. So from Kaushalya came Ramachandra, from Kekai came Bharata, and then from Sumitra came Lakshman and Shatrughna. Right. So that is how this Dashrath Maharaj's kingdom and the whole story begins. Okay, so now we already have short of time now. Okay, so we will discuss about these four sons and what is the meaning of their name, what is the meaning of Ram, what is the meaning of Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughan, and what they teach us through their names, through their qualities. That will be discussing in tomorrow's session. Today, I'm thinking of, like, I think there's a lot of devotees who have been joining new. So yesterday we started the chanting of one round Hare Krishna mantra. So I would take this opportunity to chant with all of you one round of Hare Krishna mantra, and then we'll continue our discussion tomorrow. So let us now quickly chant. All of you can stay back, but I know there's many kids. They had to get ready for tomorrow's school, and they already attended the chanting call in the morning itself. So the kids can drop, others can stay back. Kids also can stay back if they wish. But yeah, others, those who have been joining regularly for